Let's jump right in. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on those invisible psychological forces that constantly shape our everyday decisions. The goal here? Pretty simple. We want to take you from feeling vulnerable to completely empowered. We're going to unpack the hidden tactics people and companies use to influence your choices, literally without you even realizing it.
So let me ask you this right off the bat. Have you ever agreed to do something you absolutely did not want to do, only to be sitting there a few hours later, shaking your head, just wondering, why in the world did I just say yes to that? Or, hey, how about this one? Have you ever walked into a store, or maybe you were just browsing online, and suddenly you bought something you never ever planned to buy? Something that wasn't even on your radar when you were having your morning coffee? Or honestly, perhaps something even a little heavier. Have you ever trusted someone deeply only to find out later on that they were actually just using you? Well, if your answer to any of those questions is yes, you've already experienced manipulation firsthand. You have felt its effects. Okay, let's dive right into this. The shocking part isn't that manipulation exists. The shocking part is that it's happening every single day. It's in your workplace, in your relationships, all over your social media feeds, in the ads you see, and definitely in politics. Now, let's be clear, manipulation isn't magic, and it for sure isn't mind control. Actually, it's this hidden art of influencing someone's emotions, their thoughts, or behavior for personal benefit. And it thrives on one very specific, very massive myth, the idea that we as humans always make completely rational decisions. Psychologists have proven time and time again that this just isn't true. Our emotions, our habits, our fears, and these hidden cognitive weaknesses, they shape way more of our choices than pure logic ever does. And a manipulator's absolute greatest advantage? They just don't want you to know you're being influenced. So to really understand how they pull this off, we have to look at the brain. Your brain is an incredible, powerful machine, but it has one major, highly exploitable weakness. It absolutely loves shortcuts. I mean, think about it. If your brain had to consciously analyze every single microscopic decision you make in a day, from what kind of cereal to eat to calculating the exact speed of a car before you cross the street, you'd completely freeze up. You would never get anything done. So instead, your mind relies on mental shortcuts. Psychologists call these heuristics. And look, most of the time, these shortcuts keep us functioning. But sometimes they make you inherently vulnerable to being tricked. Let's break down how a couple of these shortcuts actually play out in the wild. On one hand, we've got social proof. This is the shortcut where your brain just naturally assumes, hey, if a bunch of people believe this or are doing this, it must be right. That's exactly why a packed restaurant suddenly looks like the best spot in town, or why a product with thousands of 5-star reviews will sell out in minutes. We're literally letting the crowd do the thinking for us. But then, on the flip side, we have authority bias. We naturally trust doctors, scientists, celebrities, or really anyone who just looks or sounds powerful. Manipulators exploit this big time. They'll wear the expensive clothes, speak with intense, unearned confidence, or flash some impressive titles. And they don't do this because it proves they're smart. They do it because it triggers your brain's authority bias. Your brain just automatically fills in the blanks with unearned trust. All right, let's shift gears a bit and talk about interpersonal manipulation. Ever heard these? You're imagining things. That literally never happened. Wow, you're way too sensitive. Imagine confronting someone after you caught them in a lie, and instead of apologizing, they just feed you these exact dismissive lines. This isn't just someone being defensive, okay? This is a deliberate, calculated tactic designed to make you doubt your own memory. Which brings us to one of the most toxic manipulation techniques out there: gaslighting. It is this slow, grinding psychological process. It doesn't happen overnight. Small lies eventually become bigger lies. Tiny seeds of doubt grow into this permanent, paralyzing confusion. You actually start thinking to yourself, wait, maybe I did remember it wrong. Maybe I am overreacting. And eventually, you stop trusting your own mind entirely. It's wild, but once a victim reaches the point where they are relying on the manipulator to tell them what reality actually is, they become incredibly easy to control. Let's keep going and see how this builds with our emotions. Take a look at this insidious little thing called the love bombing cycle. You see, not every manipulator uses outright lies to scramble your brain. Some just use your own feelings against you. In step 1, the manipulator completely overwhelms you. Endless compliments, gifts, nonstop attention. You feel so special, so chosen. But then, we hit steps 2 and 3. Once that deep emotional attachment is finally locked in, everything flips. The affection just vanishes. You're left completely disoriented, constantly scrambling, trying to earn back that intense love you felt in the beginning. It completely replaces logic with this dangerous emotional dependence, turning the whole relationship into a controlling cycle of reward and punishment. And man, emotional manipulation does not stop at love bombing. Just listen to this sentence. After everything I've done for you, or maybe you've heard, if you really cared about me, you would do this. This is classic guilt tripping. Did you notice what's totally missing here? Logic. There is zero logic. The manipulator isn't trying to build a rational, reasoned argument for why you should do a certain thing. Their sole goal is to weaponize your empathy. They want to make you feel so incredibly guilty that even whispering the word no feels completely impossible. But let's zoom out. Let's escalate this and look at how this happens on a macro corporate level. We have all seen this exact phrase plastered across our screens, right? Only 2 items left. Sale ends in 3 hours. Whether that statement is actually true or just completely fabricated by some code on a website, and let's be real, it usually is, it doesn't actually matter. Your brain instantly feels panic, urgency. Marketers are intentionally triggering what is known as the scarcity effect. Deep down in our psychology, we are wired to value things significantly more when we believe they are running out. And then, of course, there is the big one, FOMO, the fear of missing out. Social media is an absolute masterclass in this. You scroll through these feeds filled with people living seemingly perfect, super exciting lives. The luxury vacations, the flawless relationships, the flashy cars. FOMO is that nagging, awful feeling of incompleteness that hits when your brain inevitably compares your everyday, ordinary life to someone else's highly curated highlight reel. And marketers, they absolutely love this. Why? Because people who feel incomplete, who feel like they are missing out on the good life, well, they are far more likely to buy products to try and fill that void. Now, let's look at how your time is literally being hijacked. Think about this timeline. Minute 1, you open your phone just to check a single random notification. Minute 15, you're somehow deep into watching a short video. Minute 60, you are completely trapped in an infinite scrolling loop. Look, this is not an accident, and it is definitely not a lack of willpower on your part. Social media platforms are meticulously designed to capture and hold your attention. Every notification, every like, every short video, it's all engineered to trigger a tiny burst of dopamine in your brain. Your brain starts creating more of it, and boom, checking your phone becomes this automatic, unconscious reflex. And here is the harsh reality of it all. Your attention has literally become the product. The reason that infinite scrolling loop is so devastating is because there's no natural ending signal. There's no cue telling your brain, okay, buddy, you've had enough, time to put the phone down. There is always the promise that the very next video might be even more interesting. Your lost time, those hours that just vanish into thin air, they are entirely by design. Okay, take a breath. How do we actually stop this? Let's relieve some of this tension and get you equipped with your shield. Because, like we said at the very beginning, manipulation really only works when it's invisible. Once you start recognizing these patterns, you become remarkably difficult to manipulate. So here are your defensive tactics. Number 1, pause. Whenever someone or some website is pressuring you into a quick decision, just pause. Take your time. Remember that urgency is very often totally artificial. Number 2, if someone is constantly making you question your own memory, start keeping written records. Cold, hard facts are always stronger than manipulated emotions. And number 3, do not feel guilty for saying no. Healthy relationships inherently respect limits. It's only the manipulative ones that punish you for having them. So, the most crucial point I want to leave you with in this explainer is a single, incredibly powerful question. The very next time you feel pressured, guilty, or just urgently compelled to act, stop and ask yourself, who benefits if I believe this? Knowledge really is the strongest shield against unseen influence, because the more you understand exactly how your mind works, the harder it becomes for anyone to control it. But man, it does make you wonder, if you are aware of these tactics now, what invisible strings are still pulling your decisions that you haven't even noticed yet? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and stay empowered out there.